So how to create databases? There is two ways. So simple method is right click databases and click new database. So we can type as a name here, a database name. So for example, I want to create a database. Name is SQL, sorry, global Edu. 8 a.m. Okay. So this is the database I'm going to create. So each database, we have two files. So who is the owner? So default, the owner is DBO, database owner. So if you do not create for any owners for this by default, so it will take owner. So here, if you see here, database files. So the files, there are two types of files is there. One is primary file, second one is log file. So primary file is nothing but it will store whatever the data we are going to insert it, that data will be stored. Means rows data, like whatever the data is we are going to insert data, that will be stored in the primary file. The log file, for example, when the user is connected this database and what if when you do some kind of operations, so that log kind of information it stored in the log file. So here the file names are global edu tech 8 am. So this is defaultly it will store this location wherever the server is, like SQL server is installed. So there it will be located that file. If you want to change that file while creating the database, you can change it. I don't want to change. As of now, I will go with the same location. So after that, click add. Sorry. I don't, if you want to add secondary file also, you can add it. After that, just click OK. So now the database is created, global edutech 88. So this is user-defined databases. So user-defined database level, the database you can define as your wish. So this is through GUI. The another approach is through command. So the command is create database sample DB. Okay. So syntax is how to create through command is, so create is a keyword, database, create database and database. That's all. So sample DB, it will be created. See here. So create database sample DB. So it is created. Just refresh. So sample DB is created. So there is no difference for through GUI or both are similar way. So I want to see the database sp underscore help DB. So if you provide the details, it will give it. So sp help, there is a command sp help DB and give the database name. It will give the database details. So sample DB. So what is the size? Who is the owner for this database and database ID? When it is created? So July. What is the status for this database? It is online means the database is active. If it is offline means the database is inactive. Okay. So here everything is there, compatibility level. And so coming to the names, right? So just now we discussed the every database have two files. So that is one is primary file, the secondary is log file. So if you see here, you say whatever the data, whatever the real data is we are going to create at the table level, that real data it will be stored in the primary file. So log files means generally it will deals with the so when is the user is connected, when like this kind of log information, the when you are going to remove one table, so it will log that table info here in the log file. So the detail level, everything it will be stored in the data only, log files generally. So when the user is logged in for this database, this kind of information it's deal with in this database, sorry, in this log file. So clear so far, like how to create the database. You want to rename the database. So I want to rename the database sp underscore rename DB. So this is the syntax for rename the database. How to rename the database is sp underscore rename DB, old name, comma, new name. So this is syntax. So here, like coming to the, so what is the old name? So we have two names are there. So you can rename sample DB to, I want to rename with sample DB to SQL DB 8 AM. So just rename it. So the database name has been set. So just sample DB, just refresh here. So no more sample DB is there. It will update it to SQL DB 8 AM. Just refresh. After that, it will go. See here. So this is the script how to rename the database. So for example, and also you can rename here also. So rename this database 8 AM 1. You can rename it. So either that way or this way. So how to drop the database? Simple. Drop is a command. Drop database name. Okay. For example, I will create sample DB again. Sorry, sample DB 1. So database is created. Let me refresh. I want to remove sample DB database. What? See here, I want to remove this database. So drop database name. Just execute. So right click, new query, execute it. Yeah, it is already done. So it is dropped sample DB 1. See here, it's already in the previous execute itself. It's done. So just refresh it. So go to databases. See, sample DB 1 already dropped. So this is the syntax for database related. How to create the database, how to rename the database, how to drop the database. So coming to the document. So what is mean my database? Everything I have explained. So here, how many types of databases is there? How to create the database? So how to rename the database? Like everything is there. So this is completed this chapter. And also I will share this document through WhatsApp group. So every day, like whatever the concept is completed, I will set the document. So for that, for the next day, I will ask these questions. Please go through this document and ready for the next class. Please focus on learning. So listening is very easy, but learning the same time, if you do not practice, so it is like simple thing is మనకేంటంటే ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఎంత ఎంత టైం పడత ఎంత టైం తీసుకుంటారు అంటే ఇప్పుడు కోర్స్ తీసుకునేటప్పుడు నెగ్లెక్ట్ చేశారనుకోండి, కోర్స్ అయిపోతది. మళ్ళా మీకు ఏ డౌట్స్ ఉన్నా నేనైతే క్లారిఫై చేయగలను. మీకు అప్పుడైతే మళ్ళా క్లారిఫికేషన్ కోసము మళ్ళా మీరు కోర్స్ అయిపోయినాక 30 డేస్ కానీ, మళ్ళా 60 డేస్ కానీ టైం పడతది. సో నేనేమంటున్నా అంటే, మీ ఆ 60 డేస్ టైం వేస్ట్ కాకూడదంటే మీరు ఇమ్మీడియేట్‌గా ఏ రోజు కాన్సెప్ట్ ఆ రోజుకి అయిపించుకున్నారనుకోండి, మీకు నెక్స్ట్ కాన్సెప్ట్ అర్థమవుతది. సేమ్ టైమ్ మీరు ఒక్కసారి కోర్స్ అయిపోతేనే ఇమ్మీడియేట్‌గా మీకు మనము రెజ్యూమ్ వచ్చేసి జాబ్ పోర్టల్‌లో పెట్టుకునేదానికి ఈజీగా ఉంటది. So please understand and follow the way of method. So its choice is yours, guys. Mhm. Document. It's not uploaded. This is the, yeah, the thing is, let me check why it is not done. So I am not part of that admin, like, let me check. Okay. I can share for that later. So looks like admin privileges issue is there. I will talk with them and share the document after this class. So coming to the next concept is SQL server. So what is mean by SQL server? So so remember, so before SQL server, how the data it will be stored to files. As you know, see the 50 years back. So for any government offices, so they will store the data in the form of files. Remember, for example, they want to check the document, land document only. In that time, they will store a file only. They want to check the manually. There is no way directly they can check online because that time that kind of facilities not available. So this nowadays nowadays everything make it online. So earlier days they don't have that feasibility in their days. So they will generally data it will be stored in the data will be maintained by file system. So later in the file system data it will be stored in the next level. So this is like around like 90/40. So like 90/80 plus like that the later. So they will store the data in the form of Excel. The later, instead of that, in Excel also like the wherever the data is there in the file, you that make it not online. So for later, the Microsoft introduced SQL Server database, so that whenever you want to retrieve or whenever you want to insert the data, they can check it online. So SQL is a Microsoft database product. So mainly it deal with it will like it will store the data or update the data like whatever the database operations backend side. So simply backend tool. So we can deal with like backend tools how insert the data, update or delete the data. So basically these operations we can do that. So for these operations, you want to like there is different commands are there. So for that they have categorized all the commands into four languages. The very first one is data definition language. Also, it is called as DDL. So, data manipulation language. So, DML command. Transaction control language. So basically, TCL is like how to control the data. So when you do, so for example, so if you this transaction control language, when we it will deal with, for example, you are going to transfer the amount through online banking. So what is happening when you do the transferring? Suddenly the power is gone. So the transaction, whatever the up to like OTP level you reach. So whatever the transaction is there, that kind of transaction. So if the transaction, so after it will give sometimes like 90 seconds, or sometimes we'll give 120 sorry 90 seconds or 160 180 seconds, like that. They will like 3 minutes or 5 minutes the duration. If you do not respond within that time, the transaction will roll back. If you within the time you are responding, so the transaction will be successfully completed. So the transaction, everything is completed, then it is commit or rollback. So you want to permanently save that change, or that if you want to go back, right, you want to roll back that entire the transaction. So for that time we can use TCL. So data control language. So for example, data control language, mainly we can deal with like you want to access it at the particular table. You want to give access, grant and revoke. There is two permissions are there. Grant means you want to give the access. Revoke means you roll back the access for that table. So already I gave the access, but right now we are moved to one project to another project. Don't want to that access. So revoke the access for that table. So that is mainly dealing with data control language. Yes. So remaining, so data definition language, it's deal with, yesterday we discussed the mainly deal with the column headers. Like you want to create the column, or you want to add the column, or you want to drop the column. And for that, we can use data definition language. So for data manipulation language, like it will deal with relate completely on data side. You want to insert, update, delete. Okay. So let's go for each everyone. So data definition language. So it's mainly used to create an object, or alter the object, or delete the objects. So create. So mainly the create is used to mainly used to create an object, alter, modify or update the object. Drop. You want to delete, permanently delete the object. So truncate means used to delete the data at a time. For enter the table, we want to delete. We can remove the sorry. We want to delete enter the data. We can use truncate table. So we'll go for syntax level everything. Yeah. So coming to the data manipulation language. So the DML commands mainly deal with for any manipulating on the data. So manipulation means like insertion, updation, deletion, and retrieval part. So we have four commands in this DML language. The very first one is select. So use it to query the object data. So select mainly is it to retrieve, you want to see that table level data. So for that we can use select star from table name. So insert, like we want to insert the data, you want to insert a new data into the table. So we can insert. Update, you want to like for the existing data we want to modify it, we can use update command. So delete is a command. So it's a delete is a DML command. Mainly it is you want to delete the data. So we can like we want to delete entire the table, or we want to give some particular table. Even you know that here truncate also it will delete the data. What is the major difference between is, so delete, truncate, both are okay, both are delete the data, but the thing is delete it will support whereas condition. So you want to particular employee, so you can go with delete command. So you truncate does not support whereas condition, it truncate all the data at a time. That's the difference. So and also one more difference is truncate is a DDL command, delete is a DML command. So transaction, So transaction level, like we have two kind of things are there, commit and rollback. So if we commit, mainly it is to make the changes permanently. Rollback means we want to use that undo the changes. So you have started the transaction. So you are trying to transfer the amount from one account to another account. So in that case, like in suddenly you are doing in system level. So suddenly the power is gone. So in that case, like the transaction, it will be rollback if you are not responding particular time. The power not yet came. So let us assume. So definitely it will take the entire transaction rollback. So for that we can use rollback. This is commit and rollback, mainly it is used for transaction SQL language, TSQL. We can call as TSQL. So like doing any big procedures like that. So we can use it. Wow. The last one is data control language. So it generally to access an object which was created by another user. At first, we must get the permission from the owner of the object. To provide the permission or remove the permission, we have used this language. So grant, we want to provide the access for that object. So revoke means we want to remove the access for that object. Simple. So any questions about here? So that's all for structure query languages. We have four languages. So these four
Sir,
languages,
what is
yeah.
so what is the difference between drop and delete, sir?
What is the difference between drop and
Drop and delete.
okay? Drop is dealing with column level. Okay. So let's say,
Okay.
so for example, I'm create table test one. So I'm going to insert that. I am going to some tables ID, integer, comma, name. So where I'm going to give some data. So table is created. Now I'm going to insert into what is the test one, right? Test one values. So what is the value? One. Avinash. Let us assume. I'm going to insert one more value. Any name. Raj. Let's say. Lingus forms. So I want to retrieve the table. So select first a star from. So here. So we have total. How many rows are there? Total 3 rows are there. So drop, delete. So delete is like it's a you want to delete. So let's see, begin transaction. So begin transaction. So for this, like TCL language, it involved. So what is the TCL language here? So what transaction control language. So transaction control language TCL. So TCL it will deal with commit or rollback. So when you do the TCL, so always you have to write begin transaction keyword. So then I'm going to delete ID equal to 3. So delete from table text one. So where ID equal to 3. So delete is a DML command. Mainly it will delete the raw data. So for example, I'm giving 3 Razu. So Razu is going to delete now. See here, one row. deleted. Now check the data, select star from test table. Okay. So whatever the transaction I have done, so I don't want to commit the changes. So you want to roll back the changes, roll back transaction. I don't want to delete that permanently. Rollback transaction, when you do the rollback transaction, again that record will come, whatever the delete record is. Because we started the very beginning begin transaction. This is still whatever the command, whatever the queries we are doing, it will still not it permanently stored. See here again, get back. So here instead of this, if you commit transaction, when you do this one, so whatever the begin transaction starting here, in between what are the operations that is permanently you want to save it, so you have to, instead of rollback, you want to commit transaction. Okay, so that will save. So now we talked about deletes. So what is the drop? So begin transaction. So drop is a completely it remove the remove the object. Enter the table. Drop table text one. So it means permanently it will be deleted. So table is deleted. Let's see now. Select star from text one. It will throw error. Invalid object name text one. So it is removed. So now the difference is, what is the difference between is delete is a delete is a simply DML command. Mainly it will use it for to delete the row or entire data. So drop is a DDL command. Mainly you can use it for mainly it is used for to drop the entire the object or table. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
I answer it for your question, right?
Right, sir. Right.
Yes. So any questions on this TSQL side, like SQL languages? So we have, so for this only, for the entire SQL level, we have to use these commands only: create, alter, drop, truncate. Okay. So select, insert, update, delete, commit, rollback. These are all the transaction only we have used in the SQL server. So clear, right? Up to here. I want to move another one. It's a data type. So data type I can teach tomorrow class simply. Data type is nothing but simple. So I'm going to create one employee table. So here I used create, right? So I use create. Create is a DDL command. Create is a DDL command. So like that we can use create employee create table employee. So table name is employee. So this is a syntax. So you want to create a table. Syntax is create table employee. So we want to define as a table name. Column. Column name is column name, comma, data type. So data type and size also. Size is optional. For integer, not required the size. Okay. Followed by another like that. We have to define. So here syntax is column name, data type, size. What is the column name? Employee. Generally employee, what are the columns is there? Please help me. Generally, if you joined as a organization, how to give they will give first of all employee ID. This is very first thing when you do the registration. So generally employee ID, some companies most of time integer is there. Okay. So then employee name. We can employee ID, full name, or sometimes they can store here just underscore name. So data type as varchar, 50 varchar 20. So last name varchar 30. So next department ID integer. Next yeah, salary we can give as money or integer, both are fine. And location. So location is nothing but to, so we are staying in Hyderabad or Bangalore, so it's a kind of string data varchar 50. So this is the way of creating the table. So syntax is create table name. So employee is a not only employee, you can define anything. So okay, so employee ID is a column name and what is the data type. So data type generally, so it will we have different kind of database. I can teach by tomorrow class. Uh, yeah, tomorrow class. First name, last name. This is column names and string data. So salary is a money data type. Department ID like integer. Location varchar. Location name. So generally, whatever the key, if you see observe, whatever the keywords are there. So it is coming as which color? Is coming as blue color. So location also keywords. That's why it's coming as blue. Instead of that location name, if you give, so it won't come as a blue color. Blue color. So whatever the keywords are there, sir, it will come as blue color. Okay. So now I'm going to create this is my very first table. So created the table and now okay, table is created. You want to see the table? Select star from employee. So table is created. So this is a requirement now. So let's see. SP underscore. So earlier while creating the table, department ID. So unfortunately, I have entered department ID as a full name. So I don't want to now department department ID. Like I want to shortcut. So how to rename the column name is the syntax is. So this is the rename the column. So syntax is sp underscore rename the column sp underscore rename. So the table name dot. So give the syntax is. So table name dot column name. So and give us new column name. So that is the syntax. So here this is syntax. What is the syntax is sp underscore rename, and here we are passing the table name. This is table name dot. This is column name, existing column name, and new name. So after executing this one, it is rename the column. So I want to change again. So dept underscore id I want to change. In this case, so this is old name now. So dept underscore id as a new name. Okay. Let's see. The table is executed. Let's see now. It is updated to dept underscore id. So clear? So we want to rename after creating the table. So this is the syntax sp underscore rename. So give the table name dot column name and give the new column. So for example, there is another requirement is I'm going to insert some data. So insert into what is the table? So in the table, so here two ways we can insert. The first approach is whatever the column. So insert into employee, whatever the columns, right? So when you give open bracket and close bracket and values, we have to pass. This is the syntax. Here we have provided the list of columns, and here we want to provide list of values. What are the list of column employee values? So here, so first of all, we have to give employee ID. So employee ID, comma, first name, comma, last name. So then followed by salary, then department ID, comma, location, name. So this is we want to provide the columns. So here values. So values, what is the employee ID? So it's a numeric, no need to string character, first name. So Venu, the last name is Madhav. So here, so let's see here. So values, first name, last name, then salary. Salary I'm giving like 20K. Department ID, let us assume 1. Location name, Hyderabad. So I'm going to insert here. So department ID is the issue. So what is the department ID? The latest column is this one. Yeah. So just execute. So one row inserted. So select star from employee. So now the data is there. This is one way statement. So another statement is I don't want to insert all the values. I want to insert only. So here the thing is here we did not define it is a null column or anything. We did not define any constraints. So whatever for example, in the second scenario, I want to pass only employee ID. So passing as 2. Anyone, it will be execute or not. So insert into employee ID. Only one column value, one column employee ID and passing value only one employee ID value. So when you execute this one, it will be successfully inserted the data. For the employee ID, it will be coming as 2. For the remaining columns, first name, last name, salary, department ID, location name. So for other columns, everything is coming as null. Let's see. One row affected means one row is inserted. Let's see here, select star from employee. So second row is inserted, the remaining values coming as null. So let's see, whatever the values, like first name I have applied. So that's 3. So we have inserted only rows. It will support one row inserted. This is first approach, inserting the data. So inserting the data here. So best passing here number of passing the column names. The second approach is we did not passing the direct passing the direct values instead of columns. Now in the second approach is I don't want to pass these values. So insert into employee. So directly we can insert some values. How many values are there? Let us assume here values are there here. So we want to insert the values like 3. Okay. We want to insert this data. So without column names also we can insert the data. See here, this is second approach. Inserting the data, passing the direct values. Now check here. So employee 3 is inserted. But we'll try. If we go second approach, there is one disadvantage. I want to pass only employee name as 4. If we go for in this approach, definitely it cannot insert the data. It will throw error. So what is the error it is throwing? Column names or number of supplied values does not match the table definition. That means, so when you do not mention in the column names, so how many columns are there? How many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 columns are there. Sorry. You have to pass all the 6 values here. Earlier, why the statement is executed successfully? The reason is we passed all the 6 values. Let's count it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So can you try with 5 values instead of 6? Even though it will fail. So how many columns are there? We have to pass all the values. Otherwise, it will throw error. So that is the one disadvantage. When you define insert into employee values, you have to pass how many columns there, that many values you have to pass here. That's the difference. Okay. Okay, now inserted. So the table is created. The table is created. Select star from employee. Okay, table is created. So on top of this, now I want to add one more column. Now my requirement came. What is the employee job role? So job code, I can say job code. So we want to add for the job code as a column. So we want to add the column name job code 6 after that seventh column. How to add after creating the column? So let's see, the syntax is adding a new column into the existing table. Syntax is so alter. So we are going to alter table for employee. Syntax is alter table employee. So add column name. What is the column name? Job code. Job code is a kind of string data. So I'm going to give varchar 10. So this is the syntax. So alter table name. So alter table name. Following, you want to add a new column. So add job code name. Let's see here. So in this case, right now I have five columns are there. So as of now, we have added the job code as a new column. So what is the values for that one is still everything coming as null values for the time being. Okay, all the values coming as null values. Okay, this is the way adding a new column for the existing table. So let's see. I want to insert one more record. So here, what is the data type I have defined? 20 characters. So now I'm going to insert. So I'm going to insert through this way or this way. This way also fine. I'm going to insert. This is the way. So I'm giving. I want to count it this one. So SQL how to count it? Simple is select length. Length I'm going to count. So it will give number of characters. So I know very well. That's why I'm written. So total 26 characters are there. So what is the data type I have defined? First name. I'm going to define as 20 characters. So it is reaches more than that size. So 20 I have defined, but the total characters are 26 characters. Definitely it will throw error. The column name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So job code. So let us assume job code also DCYA. So no, the recently new column is added, right? Even though it will fail. So what is the definition? String or binary data would be truncated in the table. So first name అనే column లో మనకి data whatever the passing data it reaches more than only it will support Venkata Subbareddy Basi BAS. Up to here only it will coming as 20 characters. After this it is truncating. That's the reason it is not throwing. So what is the option? But I want to insert this name in this first name column. So for that, so we want to alter the data type, the size. We want to alter the size. How to alter the size is simple thing is now alter the data type size. So the syntax is simple. Alter table name. Syntax is alter table name. Again, we are going to now this time alter column level. Alter column. What is the column? We are going to change first name. So first name. What is the is a varchar data type? We want to change varchar to 50. So this is the syntax. When you alter this column size, so now it is modified. Also, you can verify it here. Here, go to tables. So this is database. Go to tables. So whatever the tables are created here, we can able to see here. Refresh tables. Yes. So now I'm going to insert table. So let execute. Now it will be that issue has been solved. So we can now insert up to 50 characters. So how to alter the column name? So column name, data type, how to alter it? Simple is alter table name, alter column name, and data type change. Data type change. Any questions so far? So I will share this document as well as for you guys. So open this the SQL server. I'll create a new folder. This script also I will say. So what is the script name? So table creations. So this is fail. I can share to WhatsApp. Let's see. Now this, yeah, now I have option. So let me give that location where it is file. Where that is stored. Related. Okay, right. Document, so I will share SQL all this step. So document is not uploading. I will check and get back to you on that. Yeah. Any questions? That's all from my side for today class. So I will share the record as well as.